So yeah, my name's Garth Gustafson, and I work in Battambang, Cambodia with Youth with a Mission. And I went to Cambodia for the first time in 2003 and saw the situation there. And at that point, the history of Cambodia is quite a difficult one, where the nation was oppressed for several hundred years. First by French colonization, and then through the Khmer Rouge from 1975 to 1979. And so through the Khmer Rouge, the communist regime killed about 2 or 3 million people, estimated. But then even after the Vietnamese came in and defeated the Khmer Rouge, basically the war didn't stop. The Khmer Rouge continued to fight back for about 25 years until 1997, and then political instability continued into the early 2000s. So when I walked into Cambodia for the first time in 2003, you're looking at a nation that's been basically war-torn for about 25 years. And so the impacts of that on the nation are extremely significant. The areas of education, healthcare, development, infrastructure are all very minimal, and a nation was basically trying to rebuild themselves. At the same time, the effects of losing 2 to 3 million people out of a generation are massive, and so at that time they were saying that roughly 80% of Cambodia was under 30 years old. And so if you just pause and think about that, that's massive. And then just recently they've come out with a statistic, the government saying that 42% of the nation is under 15 years old. And so in 2003, I went there for the first time, and I was just, done a huge work in my heart personally, and I was just open to him sending me to the nations, and it was like he highlighted the nation of Cambodia. And he spoke to me out of a scripture in Genesis chapter 50, the story with Joseph and his brothers sold him into slavery, as we know, and then when his brothers come to find food in Egypt, then Joseph is able to help them. And in Genesis chapter 50, about verses 19 and 20, Joseph basically says, what the enemy meant for evil, now God is going to turn for good. And that's how God works. He's a redeeming God, and he loves to take things that are meant for evil and turn them for good. And so as I was sitting in Cambodia in 2003, God said, what the enemy meant for evil through the Khmer Rouge, I'm now going to turn to good. And what I want to do is I want to capture the heart of this young generation that's 80% of this nation's under 30, and I want to literally transform a nation in one generation.